Hello guys, this is Param here, back again, coming up with yet another tutorial for you on Google Ad Manager. So this video will be all about key values. So if you remember that in the last video tutorial we had a problem to solve. So we had two ad slots and we had a single ad unit, and there wasn't a distinctive way to target those particular ad slots. So we'll solve that problem using key values, and using this example we'll understand the importance of key values. So key values can be quite difficult to understand, especially if you're getting started with Ad Manager. So I'll take you through the process, or I will demystify the key values for you. So we'll look at its implementation firstly in the ad code, then in the site's UI, and lastly how to target them inside the Ad Manager line items, or like you can also do that in creative if you're aware of the creative level targeting. And lastly, if you are a big site that has a lot of URLs or a lot of pages and a lot of categories, I'll help you segregate your inventory using key values. So a lot of publishers actually go on for segregating their inventory using ad units, but I'll explain why it is much easier and much efficient to use key values. With that said, let's get started.
Hello, I am Lena. I'm Param's AI friend. I'll help you understand key values. So let's get started. Key values let you define custom targeting. They can be used for the following: identify pages on a website, specify parts of a page, help target other ad inventory. We have to create them in the Admanager UI, and then implement them in the ad code using the exact same name we used in the UI. Now, they are available inside the line item for targeting as per your needs. When an ad request comes in from one of your web pages that has key values in its ad tags, line items that target those key values are eligible to serve for that ad request. Now, I'll let Param explain to you, how do you actually do that in the Admanager UI?
Now we are back to the site that we actually built in the previous video tutorials. So we have to create a key value to solve that, and I choose a key value that will be ad block. So with ad block, I'll be assigning definitive values to ad unit 1 and ad unit 2. So ad block 1 would be this slot and ad block 2 would be this particular slot. So let's get into the Ad Manager UI. We'll go under inventory key values, and we'll simply go ahead and click on new key value. So we'll select ad block and we'll provide in the same name from ad block. Now inside the value type we have two options. We can either go and provide like dynamic, or we can select predefined. So dynamic, what it will do is it will allow you to change the value at the runtime. So if inside the line item targeting you are not sure beforehand what values your key ad block will have, you can select dynamic. An example for this might be if you're creating a URL key, and the URL might vary a lot, so please select in dynamic for that. However, for this we actually have only two choices. I've already mentioned to you guys. So we'll either go in for ad block 1 or 2. So I'm choosing in predefined. So having predefined key values also help you in the reporting a lot. So you can actually pull report inside the reporting tab for those key values if you go with predefined. So predefined actually creates a custom dimension, and it's relatively easier to do. So reports for dynamic are also available, but predefined has a distinct advantage, and we get clear and crisp reports. Now we can simply enter the values. So I'm just entering 1 and 2 as we discussed. And okay, so this key I have already added those values earlier. So I'm clicking on continue. These values are added, and yes, so we have created this key value. So I actually created it earlier, so there isn't an option to save, but you guys will have to enter the value and you have to save the values. So now we have a key value, that is ad block, that is created. So it's not reflecting in here. So let me refresh. So while this reflects, another thing for us to do would be to actually assign these key values to the ad units and update our ad code. So how do we do that? So if you remember that we were using this tool to actually generate key values. So what I'll do is right now I'm just putting in dummy values because I just need a way to add custom targeting to the particular ad unit. So I'm just adding in dummy key values because we have already generated this code, and what I need is a way to find out what's the syntax of doing this at an ad unit level. So let me grab my ad unit name from here at least, so this will make things easier for us. So I'm just copying in the ad unit name and going to this UI, providing in the name, keeping the size as it is. We're not going to change it. Here it says key equals to value, so we can provide the first ad unit with value. We said like ad block equals to 1. So, and we are repeating this step. So this will become, this was same medium rectangle, and this was the size remained the same. Here it will become ad block equals to 2. So yeah, that's it. We can simply click on generate tags. So this will actually give us a syntax of how do we implement key values at a ad unit level. So we see that this set targeting keyword has been added. So let's quickly add this into our ad code. So to actually get into our ad code, we'll have to go to the backend, WordPress backend, and let's navigate into advanced ads. So I'm just entering in the credentials in here and logging into my WordPress. So what we need to do is we need to update the ad code for the ad block key value that we created. So I'm going to advanced ads, apologies for the slowness, sometimes this might happen. So my machine relatively is fast, but okay, we know that this is a local machine, so we'll not worry with that warning. Now let's go ahead and check on our head code. So here we had like two ad units. So this is medium rectangle 1 for us, and this is medium rectangle 2. So what we'll do is we'll add in set targeting. Okay, so this is before the ad service function. So I am going, sorry, to the ad code, and I'm adding in a dot in here, and I'm providing it set targeting. There's no need for a dot because it's already copied. Okay, so I'm providing in set targeting ad block equals to 1, and now similarly we can repeat this step for the ad unit 2. So we can do set targeting ad block 2. So now we can simply click on update, and we can navigate to the site's front end to verify whether the key values are being correctly passed. So there are actually two ways to do that, and I will show you both of them. So first way is to do that via the publisher console. So you can open in Google FC. Google FC is quite slow. So yeah, so let's go to page request tab, and the key word that you should search is set attribute. So sorry, it is targeting attribute. So we can see there the attribute is being assigned value of ad block 1. So this is being correctly assigned, and now we also have like ad block 2 being assigned to second ad slot. So we see that this targeting has been assigned as intended, and it's working perfectly. Now let's explore the second way to do this. So the second way to do this is via going to the inspect element. I will refresh this again, and what we are trying to do is we are trying to go to the networks tab, and we are trying to find that add request for ad manager. So once we find that ad request, we'll try to search for the key values for particular ad slot. So to find the ad request, you can simply go ahead and type in ads and question mark. So yes, so this is the first ad request that we are looking into here. So yeah, there is some sort of error that is coming into the second ad request, you can see in here. So you guys, if you're getting that, you might troubleshoot, but this is some like temporary thing I did, and it might be a cause of that. So I'm not troubleshooting this error right now. So what we need to do is we need to find the key values, that is like for the ad block we need to check whether they are being passed in the add request. So this is the add request, and the font in here is quite small, so let me try to make it big so you guys can actually see that. So here is like inside the response headers you see a lot of fields. You can explore it on your own. So it also gives us the creative and the line item ID, one things that you can easily recognize. So this is not the key values. Let's actually you know scroll down till we find the key values. So now we are inside the query string parameters. Okay, so here we are seeing like IU path. So IU paths is actually specifying the ad unit path for us. It's breaking it down for us. So this is the ad sizes, and yeah, this is the cookie. Okay, so this is the parameter that we were actually looking for. So here we can see ad block 1 and ad block 2 is being passed. Now as we set up Amazon in here, so Amazon's bid are also being passed via here, so please don't get confused by that. But you can see ad block 1 and ad block 2 is being correctly passed in here. So this is how you verify things with console. But I usually prefer using the Google Publisher Console because it's relatively easier for me. And to be honest, my most of the troubleshooting with respect to ads, Google Publisher Console has been self-sufficient for me. So I'll recommend for you guys also, do not necessarily try to open a dev console because just because it looks cool. But most of the troubleshooting you should be able to do it from the Google Publisher Console. Now that we have verified that key values are being correctly passed on the website, what we'll do is we'll quickly target this key values inside this premise line item. So we'll target in here ad block 1. So targeting in ad block 1 in here will ensure that only premise ad serves in this particular ad slot. To do that, we are going inside the custom targeting. We are selecting in here ad block 1. So I'm providing it in a value ad block 1. Yeah, so that's it guys. So that is how easy it is to set up key values, and I hope that you have understood key values quite fairly. Now, before concluding this video, let's discuss, why I prefer using key values to organize my inventory instead of creating new ad units. So let me give you a simple example. So right now this site is fairly simple, and we do not have a lot of categories. But assume that these are the three categories in here. So moon is a category, ocean is a category, and a sky is a category. So you have a requirement wherein you want to target ads only to moon section. So one approach to do that would be to create new ad units for the moon section. But what if you add new categories in the future? So won't this process be quite manual? So I don't know for you guys, but for me this process definitely seems manual. So, and what about we extend this example even further? So right now I told you to assume that that these moon, ocean, and sky were the categories. But now let's assume, or it is actually is moon, sky, and the ocean are the URLs. So you have a requirement to target ads on only this particular URL. So how do you do that using ad units? Is it feasible for us to create new ad unit for every URL? So that is definitely not a feasible thing for me. And for that particular thing, I definitely recommend to you using key values. Now for this particular example, I would like to explain to you how do we do that. So we have a requirement in which we have to uniquely target ads to this particular page. So to do that, what I'll do is I'll jump into the Admanager UI and I'll create a key value that is called as the URL. So I've already created this key value in here, so I'll not be able to create it once again. but let me quickly open it and just show you guys its setup. So let's wait while this opens up, and it's taking forever as usual. Okay, so finally this is up. So we have in here the URL key value. So I've opened in the URL key value. I've provided a name called as URL, display name is same. Here in the value type, I've provided it as dynamic. Why? Because URLs will keep on changing dynamically, and there isn't a way for me to ensure beforehand that what will be the URL value. So we will keep this dynamic, and that's it, guys. We do not need to make any further changes, and we can simply click on the save button. Now once we have done that, an important task for us would be to ensure that from the add code the dynamic URL values are being passed. So how do we do that? So let's jump into the tag manager yet again. I'm just creating dummy values for these. All I need is the syntax for the key values. So earlier we needed syntax for the add unit level. Now we are going for a page level key values. Why? Because URL will remain same for all the add units. Now here we have the custom targeting option in here. So I'm just providing in URL equals to URL. So here I'm just checking in the syntax in here. The add unit will remain same. So here is just a sample. This actually doesn't matter because we'll just fetch in the syntax from in here. Now let's see what we have got. So we have got a set targeting function that is assigning URL to URL. So this actual string would not do it for us. So this this is passing the string value URL to the key URL, but we need this to pass the dynamic value. So to do that, we'll have to write some JavaScript. So firstly, let's go to the site's backend and simply replace simply add in here the set targeting function. So here with the set targeting function, I'm providing in the URL and providing in here the string, but we need to replace this with a dynamic URL. So I've already googled a way and I have found that this is the syntax to fetch in the dynamic URL from JavaScript. So I'm going to use that, and this was a quick Google search that I did. So I will use this approach. So I am going in here and at the start I am providing in here the site URL variable wherein I am querying the window.location method, and I am fetching in the path name. Now here I've used the substring method to fetch only 30 digits 30 characters from the site's URL, because Admanager's key value is a limit of around 35 to 40. So to be safe, I've used only 30 characters. So this would fetch in the URL, and all we need to do is we need to assign this value in here. So I am assigning this value in here of the site URL variable, and that's it, guys. So this should do the trick for us. Now let's quickly go and verify whether this is working as intended. So I am refreshing the website, and let me append in here Google FC. So now we need to verify whether the URL value is being correctly passed. So if you remember previously, the keyword that we are looking for is attribute ATTR. So we have like one attribute here, one attribute here again. Okay, so we see a third attribute here, and you can see it's passing in the slash in here. Why? Because I've ensured that the domain name is ignored, because this function fetches in the path name. So this function is fetching in the path name. So as this is the home page, this is only giving us a slash, but we can target this slash if we want to target the home page. Now let's check this on the moons page. So what is the value that is being passed on the moons page? So Google FC again, this will automatically load up the Google FC, because once you've loaded it up, it automatically loads up again. So I am just going for the attribute again, not in here, sorry. Attribute. The page refreshed, apologies for that. So this is the attribute we are trying to search. So attribute we got in here, and yes, so we see that the question mark sorry slash moon slash is being passed, and this is a dynamic key value that is being passed to URL. So if we have a requirement wherein we for instance want to only target premise ads on this particular page, what we need to do is we need to quickly go back to the Admanager UI, navigate towards our premise line item, and add in the URL key value in here. So I'm going back to the line item, and the place we need to search for is the custom targeting. So inside the custom targeting, I'm mentioning in here URL. So let's wait for it to load, and I'm providing in here URL. So I copy pasted the slash moon slash. Now this value doesn't exist, but as I've chosen a dynamic key value, I can create this value on scratch. So doing this will ensure that the premise ad only serves on the moon's page on this particular ad slot. So that is how easy it is to do this via key values. Now think what would have been the effort to do that via ad units. One quick thing I want to show you before completing this video is uh, right now we had a requirement wherein we had to target this moon's page. However, we can do the opposite as well. We can exclude this page if we go with none of. So if we do this, then this is the negative targeting, and ads will serve on all pages except moon. Now in here, by default the logic that is the gate that follows is the AND gate, as it combines these two conditions. But we also have OR gate in here if you want to configure. So if I want to serve premise ads on moon's page and on the sky page, so what I can do is I can go here in here and provide in one in here, and in the URL I can provide in here the sky. So right now I'm not fetching in the direct URL because I'm aware, but you have to go in the publisher console and fetch in the exact value. Don't actually type in the things like me. So yeah, so this thing gives you a lot of flexibility, so you can play with the condition and logics of and the NOR gates according to your choice. So that's it guys. I would like to thank you for watching my video. Please do like and subscribe if you have watched until the end.